Hello, and welcome to Not Boring English. Today's story is called My Morning Coffee, and it's perfect for learners at the A1, A2, and B1 levels. As you listen, feel free to pause the video to practice the shadowing technique, where you listen and repeat after me to improve your pronunciation and fluency. Remember, if the story is a little difficult, you can use the playback settings to slow down the video. Let's begin. My morning coffee. My name is Clara, and I want to tell you about my mornings. For a long time, my mornings were not my favorite part of the day. They were difficult. My alarm clock would ring at 7 a.m. It was a loud, angry sound. I always pressed the snooze button. Just 5 more minutes, I always thought. But 5 minutes became 10 minutes, and then 10 minutes became 15. Suddenly, it was 7:15 a.m., and I was late. Every morning was a race. I would jump out of bed, run to the bathroom, and quickly brush my teeth. I would look in my closet for something to wear. What should I wear? This shirt? No. These pants? No. I never had time to choose my clothes carefully. I would just grab something and put it on. Then, I would run to the kitchen. I needed coffee. I always need coffee in the morning, but I had no time to make a good cup of coffee. I would use the instant coffee. It was fast, but it did not taste very good. I would put the hot water in a cup, add the instant coffee powder, and stir. I didn't have time for a real breakfast. Maybe I would eat a banana or a small yogurt while I put on my shoes. I would grab my bag, my keys, and my coat and run out the door. My heart was always beating fast. I felt stressed. I felt like I was always behind, always trying to catch up. The day started with stress, and it often continued with stress. I did not like this feeling. I wanted to start my day in a calm, peaceful way. One evening, I was talking to my friend Sarah. I told her about my difficult mornings. I feel so rushed, I said. I wish my mornings were different. Sarah listened carefully. She is a very calm person. Her mornings always seem so easy. She said, Clara, maybe you need more time. What if you wake up a little earlier? Earlier? I asked. But I love my sleep. She smiled. I know. But what if you wake up just 30 minutes earlier? Not to work, not to rush. Just for you. Just to have a quiet moment before the day begins. I thought about her idea. 30 minutes. It seemed like a lot of sleep to lose. But I was tired of feeling stressed every morning. Maybe she was right. Okay, I said. I will try it. Tomorrow. That night, I set my alarm for 6:30 a.m. When I went to bed, I was a little nervous. I was also a little excited. Maybe this small change could make a big difference. The next morning, the alarm rang at 6:30 a.m. It was still dark outside. My bed was warm and comfortable. I wanted to press the snooze button. It was a very strong feeling. But then I remembered my conversation with Sarah. I remembered my goal, a calm morning. So, I took a deep breath, turned off the alarm, and sat up. I put on my warm robe and my soft slippers. I walked out of my bedroom. The apartment was completely quiet. My husband was still sleeping. The city outside my window was still sleeping. There were no cars, no loud noises. There was only silence. It felt strange, but it also felt wonderful. I walked to the kitchen. I did not turn on the big, bright light. I only turned on the small lamp above the counter. It made a soft, warm glow in the kitchen. It was cozy. This morning, I had time. I did not need to use the bad instant coffee. I decided to make a real cup of coffee. My favorite kind. I have a special coffee maker for this. It's called a pour-over coffee maker. It's a slow process, but the coffee is always delicious. First, I boiled some water in the kettle. While the water was heating, I got my favorite mug. It's a big, blue mug that feels perfect in my hands. I opened the bag of coffee beans. The smell was amazing. It was a rich, sweet, and strong aroma. It filled the small kitchen. That smell alone made me happy. I measured the coffee beans and put them in the grinder. The sound of the grinder was loud for a moment, but it was a good sound. It was the sound of a fresh start. I put the ground coffee into a paper filter. When the water was hot, I started the slow process. I poured a little water over the coffee grounds and waited. I watched the coffee start to drip, drip, drip into my blue mug. The steam rose from the mug, and it carried that beautiful coffee smell. I poured more water, slowly, in a circle. I was not rushing. I was focused. I was just making coffee. It was like a little meditation. After a few minutes, my mug was full. It was full of dark, hot, perfect coffee. I added a little bit of milk, just how I like it. I took my mug and walked to the living room. I sat in my favorite chair by the window. I looked outside. The sky was changing. It was not completely dark anymore. A soft, gentle light was starting to appear. The sunrise was beginning. The colors were soft pinks and oranges. It was beautiful. I held the warm mug in my hands. I took the first sip of coffee. It was hot, rich, and so good. It was the best coffee I had tasted in a long time. I sat there in my chair, in the quiet, drinking my coffee and watching the city wake up. I could see the first few cars on the street below. I saw a man walking his dog. I had time to think. I didn't think about work or my busy schedule. I just thought about simple things. I thought about how nice the coffee tasted. I thought about how beautiful the sunrise was. I felt grateful. I was grateful for this quiet moment, for this good coffee, for this new morning. I finished my coffee. I looked at the clock. It was 7:02 a.m. This was the time my alarm usually rang. But today, I was not in bed. I was not stressed. I was calm. I was awake. I was ready for the day. The rest of my morning was so different. I had time to choose my clothes. I had time to eat a real breakfast. When I left the apartment, I was not running. I was walking. I was smiling. The day started with peace, not stress, and that peaceful feeling stayed with me for the rest of the day. Now, every morning is like this. I wake up at 6:30 a.m. I make my special coffee. I sit by the window. It is my time. It's just 30 minutes, but it has changed everything. It's my morning coffee routine, and it's my favorite part of the day. It taught me that sometimes the smallest changes can make the biggest difference in our lives. Comprehension. Questions. Now, I will ask you a few questions to check your understanding of the story. 1. In the beginning of the story, why did the narrator feel stressed every morning? 2. What advice did her friend Sarah give her? 3. How did the new morning routine change her feelings about the day? Thank you for listening to today's story. I hope you enjoyed it. What is your favorite part of your morning routine? Tell me in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe for more stories to help you learn English. See you next time.